Namaskar, good evening, and happy Diwali to all brothers and sisters. We all know that Diwali is the celebration of inner light with the realization of soul, which comes through universal compassion, love, peace, and the awareness of the oneness of all life. This is our path to follow. Now, I again welcome. On behalf of Indian section, I welcome all brothers and sisters in Mahatma Letters Study Club, organized by Indian section. Today's speaker is Sister Paurnamsi Pattanaik. I will introduce her later. Let us begin the session by invoking the universal prayer. O hidden life, vibrant in every atom. O hidden light, shining in every creature. O hidden love, embracing all in oneness. May each who feels himself as one with thee know he is also one with every other. Come back. Today's speaker, Sister Paurnamsi Pattanaik ji, will be presenting the Mahatma letters to AP Senate. Chronological letter number 123, 124, and 125, edited by Wicks, which corresponds respectively to letter number 68, 94, 61, edited by Barbara. Now it's my pleasure and honor to introduce Sister Paurnamsi ji. Sister Paurnamsi Pattanaik is a postgraduate degree holder in personnel management and industrial relation from Utkal University. She was working as manager in Idocol Cement Limited, ACC Limited. She joined TS in the year 2001 and served under the Utkal Theosophical Federation in different capacities, such as Joint Secretary from 2007 to 2017 in Utkal Theosophical Federation. She was holding the post of Secretary in Utkal Theosophical Federation for 2 terms, that is, from 2017 to 2023. She was also a council member of Indian section. Presently, she is the National Lecturer of Indian section and President of Maru Lodge, Bhubaneswar. She has translated 2 books, namely I Promise and Karma, in the Odia language. She used to write articles on theosophy that are published in different magazines like Vishwadhara and Saswat Bharat, etc. Now I request Sister Paurnamsi ji, please share the wisdom of Mahatma letters. Paurnamsi ji.
Thank you, Sister. Namaskar to all brothers and sisters. Thank you, Sushmaji, for your kind words. I also convey my sincere thanks to Brother Pradeep Kumar Mahapatra ji for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this ML study class. Today, we will be exploring 3 chronological letters, namely number 123, letter number 124, letter number 125, corresponding to ML letter 68, ML 94, and ML 61 respectively. Though these 3 letters are very short and there are not much direct occult teachings, but it provides a rich source of instructions and inspiration to lead a spiritual life. These letters are more about situations and events which were prevailing on those days in the Theosophical circle and were written to AP Senate. But as the teachings are not limited to time and space, as regards their applicability, one may take them as if they are addressed to him individually. In these letters, Mahatma have pointed out Senate, suggesting the changes in values, attitudes, and habits, as well as duties that is necessary to lead a spiritual life or occult life, as the case may be. In this sense, these letters are very important to us. We shall now deal these three letters one by one. The first letter, 123, that is ML68, was in Mahatma K's script in blue pencil on both sides of a scrap of heavy smooth paper, about 4 inches to 10 inches folded. It was received on April 15, 1884. Now let me share my screen and we'll go to letter number 123. It takes time, please bear with me.
Okay, it's okay. Take your time. Is there any technical problem?
No sharing, screen share I am going to sharing.
Okay.
Can you see the my screen or no?
Yes, yes. It's visible.
Visible?
Yes.
That
But you're supposed to little bit big letter.
Acha.
So you're supposed to do little bit big letters.
No, that is that picture it came or that letter writing is coming. I could not see.
Only it's open Zoom workshop app, no?
No, 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 no. It's not.
No, no.
No, it's not that. Okay, I will share it afterwards. I'm just telling, giving what I know about this letter. Uh, I retrieved your note. Mahatma K is saying to Epicenet, I retrieved your note as I would prefer it to be in my hands, though I already know its contents. You may think dedicating the past year to family duties is insignificant, but actually it is not. Performing daily and hourly duties is a valuable discipline and worthy of rewards. At the time of receiving this letter, the affair of the London Lodge had been resolved with the election of a set of new office bearers. However, Senate may have felt frustration and depression with the necessity to devote attention to his family duties. As it is evident from earlier letters, Senate was interested to take a leading role in the work of the London Lodge, conveying the teachings he had received from the adepts, at least to the members, if not to the public. But he also had to meeting his family's immediate needs as he re-established himself in England. Now the screen is showing.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Let us remember about the background of his involvement in family duties during that period. In late 1882, Senate received the notice of termination of his employment as editor of the Allahabad Pioneer. He was given a year's grace period, 1 year before final dismissal. So he had to leave India after notice period of 1 year, which ended in the late 1883. When reference in letter number 123 to the past year, during which he had been caught up in family duties, is the period between mid 1883 to spring 1884, when the London Lodge election took place. It is assumed that from the time of his arrival back in England, he was not only involved meetings with members, renewing acquaintance, and so on, but also finding a suitable house in or near London, and also some kind of employment, as particularly in the light of the failure of the Phoenix venture, and there to re-establish himself in his native land in London. In spite of his family duties during those period, that is during his journey to London, he wrote Esoteric Buddhism, which was published in the year 1883. This book was about the basic teachings he has received from the Mahatmas. It is against this background we can consider K's wonderful statement, what better cause for reward, what better discipline than the daily and hourly performance of duty. On numerous occasions in letters to both Senate and other recipients of correspondence, the Mahatma emphasizes on duty. Similarly, in the book The Key to Theosophy, HPB writes of theosophy as the quintessence of duty and comments that the first of the theosophical duty is to do one's duty by all men and especially by those to whom one's specific responsibilities are due, particularly family and friends. Similarly, Annie Besant in her book, The Laws of Higher Life, says that the law of duty is the first great step towards the attainment of realizing the self as one and the first truth which a man must obey. Annie Besant emphasizes that it is by being it is by being faithful to the responsibilities before us that we climb to the ladder of spiritual evolution. Mahatma K. has also said in this letter number 123, through the performance of small plain duties, we eventually rise to the larger measure of duty, sacrifice, and charity to all humanity. In Hinduism also, there are 5 types of duty or rina, which is our duty to discharge throughout our lives on earth, namely Devarina, that is duty to God towards God, Rishiruna, duty towards gurus and sages, Pitruruna, duty to father and ancestors, Manushya, that is duty to the society, Bhutarina, that is duty to the environment, which includes plants, animals, minerals, and Mother Earth itself. Knowing all this, still the question naturally arises, just what is our duty? More specific, what is my duty? Sorry. This is never an easy question to answer, especially when one is confronted with seemingly opposite duties. Does my responsibility lie first to my family and friends, to associate, or to the work I have taken on, to some cause to which I have given myself? In a letter to Francesca Arundel, that is in letter number 20, Letters from the Masters of Wisdom, first series, the Mahatma KH advises, see to it that the continual performance of duty under the guidance of a well-developed intuition is undertaken. Only as we develop the intuitive faculty, then only we can really know what is our duty. But that development may well be brought about or strengthened by fulfilling small duties. In fact, to recognize one's responsibility in the immediate present does not always seem that simple. Yet, it may well become that simple if we are willing to do what is right before us. In the spirit that Mahatma K.H. indicates in this letter, that the daily conquest of self, the perseverance in spite of want of visible psychic progress. In this regard, Dr. Annie Besant also says that the law of duty is to all and each one that we meet. We owe a duties and obligations we owe to those around us and everyone with our circle or within our circle, and one to whom we owe duty, that is the duty of reverencing and obeying those who are superior to us. The duty of being gentle and affectionate and helpful around us, the duty of protection, kindness, helpfulness, and compassion to those below us. Similarly, Mahatma K.H. has also advised in one of his letter to a chella, that is from letter of Masters of Wisdom, letter number 24, try to fill each day's measure with pure thoughts, wise words, and kindly deeds. Then the next slide. Further, he has advised Senate, Mahatma K.H. has advised Senate, good and evil cannot be judged by physical events. So don't be disheartened if your action falls short of your aspirations. However, recognize your tendency towards mental and moral laziness, often drifting with life's current instead of actively guiding your path. While it is important not to be complacent, understand that your spiritual progress is far greater than you realize. This growth, even if not fully acknowledged by your physical plane consciousness, is more significant than mere recognition on the material plane. Then Mahatma says, keep faith in the importance of this unseen development. This note offers a sympathetic recognition of Senate's efforts and encourages maintaining a calm, brave spirit in the present, with hope for the future on all levels. It is meant to inspire strength and optimism to move forward. Although this advice was given by the master to Mr. Sinet, it should be taken as if addressed to each one of us. There is no point in feeling discouraged if in the past one has not done as much as one could have. One should begin to work now with greater energy. Discouragement is the result of ambition, and if one is really interested, the path itself seems to be the goal. At the same time, one of the greatest obstacles has also been pointed out, that is drifting instead of steering one's own course. Normally, one drifts and follows the path of least resistance instead of carving a path for oneself. The outer circumstances seem so powerful, but if examined carefully, it will be found that They control us because of some internal weaknesses. That is our internal weaknesses. For example, Bruno forced to tell or accept an untruth because he was prepared to sacrifice even his life for it. We may not go to such an extreme, and normally we are not required to make such great sacrifices. If we are prepared to forego even small advantages, it may be easier to overcome outer compulsions. It has also to be realized that the work is more internal than external. Thus, we are not to be discouraged, nor we are to give way, as evidently Sinnett was inclined to do, to a mental and moral readiness. All of us, no doubt, fall short of our expectation, but we must be willing to steer a direct course. We must maintain ourselves, as Cage says, a calm and a brave spirit towards outward events in the present and a hopeful spirit for the future. Truly, the letter says as much to us today as it did to Sinnett in the year 1884. This is the end of the letter number 123. Now we'll go to second letter number 24, corresponding letter ML 94. This letter was received from Mahatma K.S. on April 1st, 1884. In the Mahatma's long letter of explanation on the Kidal incident, letter number 117 and ML 93, he told Sinnett that he could make use anything he could make use he wished except to publish it or share it with others. The December, Mahatma also says, in the year December 83 issue of the Theosophist carried articles on the subject by General Morgan Dharanidhar Subbarao, which was published with Mahatma K.'s permission. In the fourth English edition, that is 1884 of the occult word, Sinnett explains the Kidal incident and refers to article mentioned earlier. Sinnett states that few months later he received a note from the Mahatmas lifting the restrictions on sharing the full explanation. This letter is one. This is this under Mahatma letter number 124 ML 94 is the letter, a very small letter, note, just like note, is one removing these restrictions. What is Kidal incident? Just to remind all, I can give you a brief background of this Kidal incident. In the book Esoteric Buddhism written by Sinnett, there was a passage beginning with Plato was right and so on. So this passage was included as Mahatma K.H. had told to Sinnett to use anything he wished in his book from letter number 12 and that corresponding letter ML 6. But after the book's publication, it happened that in the United States, a spiritualist by the name of Henry Kidal, who read it, and Mr. Henry Kidal had given a lecture at a gathering of a spiritualists at Lake Pleasant, New York. He claimed that the above cited passage, which was given in the book Occult World, that this from the book Occult World, plagiarized some comments of his in this book, actually, which was not a fact. This is called as Kidal incident. Now we'll go by the details of this 124 letter number 124 letter ML 94. We may remember that Mahatma K.H. had been charged with plagiarism as a result of Sinnett's publishing some portion of letter number 12 in the book Occult Word. which is just now I gave a brief description. The Mahatma ultimately explained in detail in the letter number 117 how letter number 12 had been written or precipitated. That explanation came with the restriction that Senate was not to publish or even share these facts with others. Now, in the current letter, number 124, we learn the reason of her restriction. The Mahatma knows that if Senate were to reveal the full explanation, it would be used against both of them, that is Senate and as well as Mahatma. Senate would be charged with credulity or hero worship, while the spiritualists who were inclined to consider the Mahatma mere figments of HBV's imagination would use it as a pretext for poking fun at occult science. The golden-haired nymph of this viceroys is a reference to Anna Kingsford, with whom Sinnett has just had some unhappy dealings in the London Lodge election, whose husband was also a viceroy. In this letter, Mahatma Cage removes the restriction he placed on Sinnett in letter number 117. However, Cage tells him that he must be prepared to stand the fire of furious denial and adverse criticism. Regarding Mahatma himself, he adds, I would not have the propagation of theosophy hindered on my account and to save my name from a few extra blows. In fact, the Mahatma's attitude is always impersonal, as because the cause of theosophy was for them far more important than any personal consideration. However, in this particular case, the Mahatma is concerned about the effect that publicizing of the mode by which they work might have on Senate. Really, it is a wonderful lesson which compels us to ask ourselves to what extent we are courageous enough to withstand the scorn and ridicule that often comes when we speak of occult matters. This is about all letter number 24, 124. Now we can go to the next letter. This third letter, letter number 125, corresponding letter ML61, was received from Mahatma M to AP Senate in the year 1884. This letter was written in red ink diagonally in the paper on a single sheet, that is 7 inches to 9.5 inches. The script varies in size and is evolved and is crowded towards the end of the letter. On the back, in red ink, Mahatma M's script is there, that is Senate Sahib from M. This is the original letter, how it was received. It is mentioned by the reader's guide to Mahatma letter. And now we will go in detail what is written in that small letter, letter number 25, 125. By this time, the election of officers of the London Lodge had taken place. HPB had come and gone. Colonel Alcott and Mohini were staying in the Senate's home. The Mahatma M has undertaken to let know what is to be done about Mohini. Senate is respectfully informed by Mahatma M that his guardian, here guardian is Mahatma Cage, that he is too busy with official duties to attend matters related to the London Lodge or its members. He cannot respond to Senate either by writing or precipitation, as it would be more difficult and challenging and costly, potentially damaging to their reputation in the West. Mohini cannot stay in London indefinitely. let me let me explain the first sentence. It is pertinent to mention here that Master Ames reference to precipitation as now the more difficult, rather not to say costly method of producing letters. We can appreciate the word difficult because of the energy involved in producing a precipitation. Remembering case comments on the subject in connection with the Kiddle affair as to costly, probably the clue is in the final word of the sentence. That is, to our reputation in the West. As we know that there was considerable skepticism regarding the existence of masters and or Mahatmas, and that HPB was being charged with fraud and forgery, the idea of a precipitated letter would only fan the fires of doubt, bringing the names of Mahatma into further disrepute. Then next, Mohini cannot stay in London indefinitely due to family and Theosophical Society. Mahatma M is intimating Senate that Mohini cannot stay in London indefinitely due to family and Theosophical Society duties elsewhere. As a Chella, he is not free in the usual sense and must support his family and others in Calcutta, including repaying £125 advanced by friends for his current mission. He cannot rely on Cage for help. As is the case with all Chelas, additionally, Mohini needs a temporary change of climate as he suffered from the cold in London, and special measures were taken to protect his health by providing double cell. But we can find from this letter number 125, much emphasis was given to the welfare of Mohini, who accompanied Olcott and HBB to Europe and went on with Olcott to London for the election meeting of the London Lodge. Mohini was introduced to Senate, which can be known from letter number 94 and letter number 121, where Cage refers to him as one whom I have chosen as my chela and with whom I communicate directly. So, Mahatma Cage may have proposed that Mohini should travel to Europe so that he could assist the members there in understanding with Eastern doctrines, which were made public in Senate's book Esoteric Buddhism. This idea is substantiated by M's comment in this letter number 125 that Mohini is needed to aid the members in Paris and in the country where the Theosophical work was just beginning in earnest. It was during his time in London that Mohini collaborated with Laura Holloway in writing Man Fragments of Forgotten History, published as written by two Chelas. We can also find from this letter that Mahatma M has made 2 points about Chelaship. That is, first, as a Chela, Mohini is not a free man in the ordinary acceptation of the term. It can be seen from letter number 95 that we never guide our Chelas, nor do we forewarn them. And in letter number 92, it is written that our Chelas are helped, but when they are innocent of the causes, and that led them into trouble. Thus, when Mohini is accommodated in a very cold room, Mahatma Cage surrounded him with a double cell against a death cold that threatened him. That is Mohini, because the Chela was obviously innocent of the cause of his problem. However, Mohini or any Chela is free to make his own mistake and must suffer the consequences. that is, the effects produced by cause of their own creation. But when the causes are generated by outside influences, because of the connection between Chela and Mahatma, help is given to ameliorate the effect. In the instant case, help was given to Mohini by Mahatma KH. Secondly, since Mohini was in close rapport with his master, the Mahatma could use him to achieve the purpose he had in mind, which was conveying occult education to the members of London and Europe. Therefore, the physical body needed to be protected from a death cold. So Mohini was protected by double cell. What this double cell consisted of, we are not told, but we can speculate that it was a kind of akashic or etheric protection. Then in the next slide, here Mahatma says, if Mohini is needed in London, he is even more urgently required in Paris due to the less advanced occult education. He is expected to divide his time among European spiritual center, and after his work in Paris on the 11th instant, he can return to London when the moment is established. That spiritual moment is established. Alcott will be available in London most of that time. If Henry, or that means Alcott, allowed to prolong his stay, he won't inconvenience anyone with his presence or attire, as he will stay with Arundel ladies as per prior arrangements. Further, M says that Alcott is not worse than many others, though some may think so, and there are contentious people than him. There are many contentious people than him. Regarding that Kingsford issue, justice is no longer on Senate side. And Mahatma M says to Senate, you seem to act out of personal spite, having defeated her and now wanting to humiliate and punish her, which is not right. You should learn to dissociate your consciousness from the external self. As Gage is displeased with your action, lastly, M apologizes for this remark, but they are for Senate's own benefit. In this letter 125, we can find Mahatma M taking Senate to task over his attitude towards both Alcott and Mrs. Kingsford. Senate was never completely comfortable with the President, Alcott, and Kingsford, considering him lacking a certain refinement both in language and in dress. As regards Alcott's dress, Mahatma M speaks of Alcott's extravagant Asiatic undress because Alcott was inclined to wear an Indian dhoti even in London. Such type of dress was not liked by Senate and he was feeling embarrassed. Hence, Master M directed Alcott to stay with Francesca Arundel and her mother. As regards Mrs. Kingsford, the letter number 125 implies that Senate harbored a sense of spitefulness towards her, and he was quite pleased that she had been defeated in the London Lodge election. Even Senate was interested to mortify her in some way. Thus, Mahatma M makes it clear in his usual direct way that unless Senate changes his attitude, he risks severing his tie with Mahatma KH. In fact, in spite of the external differences, if we can see the underlying truth and work together, much more can be achieved. But in any case, differences in perception and should not degenerate into personal animosities and attempts made to humiliate the opponent. There is hardly any justification for letting the difference in the method of work arouse personal hatred or ill will. Even when one is wrong, no bad feelings should be harbored. This can be seen from one of the Mahatma letters, that is Mahatma letter 120. On one occasion, when the health of Mrs. Sinnett was not very good, Master Cage sent for a lock of his hair. She was to wear it enclosed in a cotton tape, or if she likes, he preferred in a metal armlet. But simultaneously, he wrote, and Mahatma Cage wrote, harbor not ill feelings, even against an enemy and one who has wronged you. For hatred acts like antidote and may damage the effect of even this hair. It can thus be seen that bad feelings created in oneself is more powerful than any help given outside influences. We have to be very careful against all the poisonous and ill feelings towards others. A great deal of ill will springs from hot pride and egoism or self-image. So we should we should avoid all these things. Secondly, Senate's judging of occurred by external appearance can remind us to notice how frequently we judge others by their dress, speech, or some other characteristics that does not accord with our sensibilities. Finally, Senate's attitude towards Mrs. Kingford is a reminder to consider whether we take some delight in the downfall or humiliation of someone whom we would like to see defeated. Thus, to conclude, I can say, though this brief letter may be thought to have only historical relevance, in fact, as indeed the case, virtually with all of the Mahatma letters contains invaluable life lessons for today. This is the end of the third letter, 125. Thank you.
Thank you, sister. Thank you, sister. We have benefited a lot by your insightful presentation. Your insight gave us a new perspective on this letter.
Sister, you close the presentation. Sharing close kar do.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I am talking to Sister Paurnamsi. Please.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Thank you once again. Now I am presenting the Hindi translation of these letters sent by Meenakshi. आज हम महात्मा लेटर्स नंबर 123, 124 और 125 ले रहे हैं. ये 123 का प्रेजेंटेशन है. मास्टर KH AP सिनेट के प्रश्न का उत्तर देते हुए लिखते हैं, जो हम सब पर लागू होता है. मास्टर कहते हैं कि आपका पिछला वर्ष सिर्फ आपके पारिवारिक कर्तव्यों की पूर्ति में ही बीता. क्या आपको यह छोटी सी बात लगती है? नहीं, यह छोटी बात नहीं है. पुरस्कृत होने का इससे बेहतर कारण क्या हो सकता है? दैनिक जीवन में प्रतिदिन कर्तव्य पालन करने से बेहतर अनुशासन क्या हो सकता है? मेरा विश्वास करें, मैं यह मानता हूं कि मेरे शिष्य, चाहे पुरुष हो या महिला, जो भी कर्म के विधान के अनुसार छोटे कर्तव्यों को त्याग, प्रेम, दयालुता और निष्ठा के साथ पूर्ण करता है, वह बड़े स्तर पर संपूर्ण मानवता के लिए कर्तव्य, बलिदान और परोपकार के लिए तत्पर रहकर ऊपर उठेगा. तो मास्टर्स कहते हैं कि आप जिस एनलाइटमेंट के लिए प्रयास कर रहे हैं, उसकी प्राप्ति के लिए इससे श्रेष्ठतर मार्ग क्या हो सकता है? प्रतिदिन स्वयं की विजय व प्रगति जो दृष्टिगोचर नहीं हो रही है, उसके बावजूद भी दृढ़ता रखना तथा शांत चित्त रहने के साथ अपने कष्टों को सहन करना आदि गुण व्यक्ति की आध्यात्मिक प्रगति में सहायक होते हैं. फिर मास्टर कहते हैं, अच्छे एवं बुरे को निम्न या भौतिक जगत में होने वाली घटनाओं से नहीं आका जाना चाहिए। आध्यात्मिक उन्नति की जिज्ञासा के बारे में मास्टर कहते हैं कि अगर आपके प्रयास आपकी आशा आकांक्षाओं के अनुरूप या उस स्तर के नहीं है तो आप निराश ना हो, किंतु उस स्थिति को स्वीकार करके संतुष्ट भी न रहें, क्योंकि आप स्पष्ट रूप से जानते हैं कि आपकी यानी सिनेट आपकी प्रवृत्ति अक्सर मानसिक और नैतिक निष्क्रियता की ओर होती है। यह प्रवृत्ति स्वयं के प्रयास से मार्ग पर कदम बढ़ाने की बजाय जीवन की धारा में बहते रहने का रुझान रखती है। आगे मास्टर फिर कहते हैं कि आपकी आध्यात्मिक उन्नति आप जितना जानते हैं या महसूस करते हैं उससे भी कहीं अधिक है, और यह विश्वास करें कि ऐसा विकास अपने आप में स्थूल जगत की चेतना द्वारा उसकी अनुभूति से कहीं अधिक महत्वपूर्ण है। मास्टर एपी सीनेट के प्रयासों की सराहना करते हैं और सहानुभूति के साथ कहते हैं कि उन्हें वर्तमान स्थिति में बाह्य जगत की घटनाओं के प्रति शांति और धैर्य रखनी चाहिए और भविष्य में सभी स्तरों पर आशावादी भावना रखने की सलाह देकर मास्टर एपी सेनेट को प्रोत्साहित करते हैं। जैसा कि लेटर नंबर 124 बहुत छोटा है, अब उसकी प्रस्तुति। इस पत्र में महात्मा KH एपी सेनेट को लिखते हैं कि मेरे प्रिय मित्र, विभिन्न कार्यों में व्यस्त होने के कारण मैं किडल घटना को पूरी तरह से भूल गया था। इस संबंध में आपके पास मेरे स्पष्टीकरण का पत्र है। आपसे कुछ बातें गुप्त रखने के लिए कही गई थी, यानी कुछ विवरणों को कहने से मना किया गया था जो वैज्ञानिक प्रक्रिया के बारे में थी, क्योंकि इसका कारण यह था कि नास्तिक और विरोधी जनों द्वारा इस गुप्त विद्या की आलोचना करने एवं उपहास का पात्र बनने से बचना था। फिर महात्मा कहते हैं कि अब मैं इस आलोचना का सामना करने के तैयार हूं, और वो सेनेट से कहते हैं कि यदि आप इस प्रतिकूल आलोचना को सहने को तैयार हैं तो मेरे पत्र और उसकी स्पष्टीकरण का यथासंभव सर्वोत्तम उपयोग करें। वह लिखते हैं कि थियोसॉफिस्ट के पिछले अंकों में मेरी अनुमति से दिए गए कई पत्र और लेख जर्नल मार्गन, सुब्बाराव और धरणीधु द्वारा लिखे गए हैं। वह आपके मार्ग प्रशस्त कर सकते हैं। मैं नहीं चाहता कि मेरे कारण थियोसॉफी का प्रचार बाधित हो और कुछ अतिरिक्त प्रहार से हम बचे, इसका भी ख्याल रखना चाहिए। लेटर नंबर 125 महात्मा M द्वारा एपी सेनेट को 16 अप्रैल 1884 को लिखा गया। मास्टर एपी सेनेट से सम्मान पूर्वक कहते हैं कि आपके गार्डियन यानी मास्टर KH महत्वपूर्ण कार्य में व्यस्त होने के कारण व्यक्तिगत रूप से लिखने या उसका प्रेसिपिटेशन द्वारा पत्र का उत्तर देने में समर्थ नहीं है, और न ही लंदन लॉज और उसके मेंबर्स को क्षण मात्र का समय दे सकते हैं। मास्टर्स कहते हैं कि मोहन चटर्जी उस समय थियोसॉफी के कार्य के लिए लंदन में थे तथा एपी सेनेट के घर में रुके थे। वह अपने परिवार तथा सोसाइटी के कर्तव्यों के कारण लंदन में ज्यादा समय तक नहीं रुक सकते थे। ले चेला होने के कारण उनके पास अन्य कार्य भी थे, और तथा कलकत्ते में उनके परिवार के कई लोग उन पर निर्भर भी थे, और वर्तमान कार्य के लिए आर्थिक परेशानी के कारण उन्हें अपने मित्र से 125 पाउंड उधार भी लेने पड़े। मास्टर एपी सेनेट को मोहन चटर्जी के लिए एक निर्देश देते हैं। उस समय एपी सेनेट ने मोहन चटर्जी को अपने घर के ऊपर कमरे में रहने की जगह थी, जहां फायर प्लेस की व्यवस्था नहीं थी, और अधिक ठंड के कारण MM चटर्जी को स्वास्थ्य संबंधी कष्ट का सामना करना पड़ा। तब मास्टर ने उन्हें ठंड और मृत्यु से बचाने के लिए विशिष्ट सहायता यानी डबल शेल प्रदान की, जिससे वह आगे के कार्य को सुचारू रूप से कर सके। मोहनी मोहन चटर्जी उस समय लंदन के अतिरिक्त पेरिस में भी सदस्यों को गूढ़ विद्या का ज्ञान दे रहे थे, और वे सभी यूरोप के आध्यात्मिक कार्य के सेंटर्स में अपना समय समान रूप से देने के लिए योजना उन्होंने बनाई थी और उसी के अनुरूप कार्य कर रहे थे। मास्टर सेनेट से कहते हैं कि एक किंग्सफोर्ड के साथ विवाद में आप जीत गए तो क्या आप उसे अपमानित करेंगे या दंड देंगे? आप व्यक्तिगत द्वेष दिखाते हैं जो उचित नहीं है। इस विवाद में न्याय अब आपके पक्ष में नहीं है। मास्टर एम कहते हैं कि यदि आप मास्टर केएच को खोना नहीं चाहते तो आपको अपनी चेतना के निम्न स्व से स्वयं को विलग करना सीखना होगा। जो भी घटित हुआ उससे मास्टर केएच बहुत नाराज है। मास्टर एम सेनेट से इस टिप्पणी के लिए क्षमा मांगते हुए कहते हैं कि जो कुछ भी कहा गया वह आपकी स्वयं की भलाई के लिए है। ये हिंदी प्रस्तुति समाप्त हुई। अब नाउ फोरम इज ओपन for discussion. Participant can ask question from speakers, or if they want to add something, they are most welcome.
If Sushma ji, if there is no question, we can close. You have
Okay,
closing.
thank you, sir. Only I reminded a quotation regarding 123 letter. It is, sir, which Paurnamsi ji said, the service and duty we render to others is really the rent we pay for our room on this earth. We should always keep in our mind. Okay, thank you. Now we are proceeding for closing prayer. असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतम गमय. From the unreal lead us to the real, from darkness lead us to light, from death lead us to immortality. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामया, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखात् भवेत्. शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति.